coded deal.
Yeah.
Under green, there's HML for hard money lender.
That's right.
There's PML for private money lender.
Yep.
What is PMP? Pimp?
Yes.
No. What is PMP?
PMP is for private money partner, so they want an equity stake in the deal.
Got it.
Right, so like let's say I brought the deal, you brought all the money,
But I want half of the profit.
you want half the profit because I don't even want to put anything up. In fact, I've seen it happen where the person who brings the deal, if it's a good deal, they even get their finder's fee at settlement as well. So.
Are you able to control music from here, or do we need to go over there? I'm good.
I got it. I'm just waiting on her.
No, that's
to
fine. I didn't know if I
green
needed
light and we'll
to
get started.
touch something over here.
Pop,
How's the
pop,
sandwich? Is it good enough for you?
I want to thank all y'all for coming out tonight as well. That way I'm not talking to an empty room. I really appreciate it. I've learned my lesson that I am not going to ever host one of these a day before the holidays. That is clearly not a
Should I
winning
have
strategy.
it so she can see this? Or no? Got it. Nope.
I should
don't have to
totally
sit
just
there,
go
she can
out on
see
the
it.
veranda here and invite all these people who are on the lawn to come learn about real estate. They look like they're playing Pokemon Go or something.
I bet if you made like a loud announcement, a lot of people would be interested.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, there's free food.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing. Yeah, free food.
Do you want to go make a quick announcement? You've got a pretty good voice.
Nah, you're good. That's all you, bro.
All right. Anybody want to evangelize?
Prophesize? Now this one would do it for money. You want to put
I'll pay
20
her $1 for every person who actually takes her up on it.
Oh, he's doing commission style.
But I just don't want her to run off, get abducted, and then you blame me. So
Yeah, that's true.
there is that. Elise? All right. You'd figure that'd be an easy sell by just saying we have food, free food, who's hungry? And drinks, it's hot out there. Anybody want water? But, yeah. What's your name in the back there, sir?
That's Keith.
That's Keith?
Yes.
Keith, where's the rest of your crew? One-man army, all right. You the goat?
Do you have Redskins
Raised
fan by
all
chance,
time?
or Commanders fan by chance? No. I was gonna say, do you remember the one-man gang? Lorenzo Alexander was our actually he did everything. He played like tight end, linebacker, defensive line.
Is everything okay, dude?
Yeah, his nickname was the one-man gang. No? I get that. The Nats cap, I appreciate that. I'm a DC native, so I appreciate that.
If we're able to make a recording off YouTube, let's just knock this out. I don't want to make these people wait all night.
Where's home? What part? Okay.
We got a wholesaler to show up. He's signing in.
Where's here? Manassas or where you at? Gotcha.
All right, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Let me turn off this music so you can actually hear me. We're going to be talking about flipping houses tonight. Who would like to make some transactional money? All right, good. Then you're in the right room. Let's see here. Did I lose my internet connection? Why is it not hitting to the next page? Figures. That's my wife and child, by the way, while I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Why is this happening? Elise, you're a bit more tech savvy than I am. How do I get this to be fixed? May as well let y'all talk for a minute. I don't know what's going on here. Why is this not working? I've never had this problem before. That's what I was doing. Yeah, that was weird. All right, let's see if it's gonna connect up. Okay, I got it. Actually, I didn't get it. My wife got it somehow. All right, so notice we are going to be filming and recording tonight. That way the recording is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. So if you guys are in WITSEC, I recommend that you get up and leave so that way whoever's chasing you doesn't find you. All right. What is GRID? GRID is a global real estate community built by investors for investors, and we try to make investing accessible through association. The late, great Jim Rohn once said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so I would encourage you to make some connections tonight, especially with such a tight-knit group of people. If there's people that you've seen here time and time again, because I see a couple faces who have returned from the past, maybe consider the question, why haven't I done a deal with you yet, right? And figure out how you can make progress towards an actual closed transaction. Here's our calendar. We start off the year by going through the different excuses people have. Then we progress on how to get your first deal. Then we start working on some transactional wealth, getting you skilled at finding deals and being able to flip in order to build up that war chest. After that, we work on more residual wealth. And we finish off with generational wealth, figuring out the tax and legal playbooks. That way you can run a proper business that is actually something you could pass down to your children.
Can we go stay there for just 1 second?
Yeah.
So obviously we're in flipping in July, but the next 3 months are going to be kind of like the real, like retire and stop, actively working type of stuff, which tends to be.
That's the meat and potatoes.
I mean, and takes a little bit longer to kind of build up as opposed to just stuff that you can do tomorrow to make money or, 90 days from now making money. But this is where, kind of the financial independence stuff starts to get a little bit interesting. So we're starting with long term, then we're going to go short and midterm. This has been an area, the midterm rentals, I know you have a tremendous amount of interest in, Dan, but also, maybe I was in the wrong circles, but I didn't hear a ton about this over like 5 years ago compared to what I'm hearing now. Everyone seems to be kind of interested in the traveling nurses deal. What's up?
Naya decided to show.
Oh, good. Fantastic. And then house hacking, October. But, just tell your friends, bring somebody, talk about how to get rental properties to cover your bills and short and midterm rentals. So, I just want to kind of set that for next 2 months.
Okay. So I recommend to try to build this community, right? I promise I'll try not to do this on a holiday next time. But this is your community, and the more people that are in it, the more money we can all make together, the more wealth we can all grow. So I would ask you, who do you know that would benefit from connecting, right? Think about the people in your world that would benefit from being in a room like this, right? Who are those people and how could you invite them out? We certainly are going to have some free food.
I just noticed, dude, you got a little Mr. Bean kind of expression on this photo. Anybody else see that?
I'll have some more comical photos later on. We're going to have just a quick social media breakout. This is just your opportunity where you can either get to know the people around you or you could also post online. We always say don't be a secret agent. The people in your world might also be interested in the sort of things that you're interested in, but if you're not letting the world know about your interests, how will they ever collaborate with you, right? I cannot tell you how many times we've had deals, transactions, opportunities be uncovered just because people are aware that you're in the space. As an example, I did a transaction this year that came from someone I hadn't spoken to in 10 years. I knew them back in high school, but they watched and followed me on social media, knew that I had a skill set, and they reached out when the time was right for them. So I'm just gonna make it short, 5 minutes. Feel free to move if you wanna get to people who are not at your table. Introduce yourself to folks and maybe make a social media post for yourself. All right, go ahead. Whoever would have guessed, right? With tomorrow being July 4th, right? A little bit hot, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, not only that, I asked them if they could get the AC working. They said that they don't have it scheduled for someone to come out and see if it was working. So it was nice. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. last time, but it feels a little sweaty.
It's not super clear, but our volume, at least volume is not a problem. And is that like full max volume on your phone?
But I just wanted to come and thank you.
Tell it out. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's just a way to start the conversation, right? For sure. That's right. Yeah? Well, we've got the link is joincosmo.com if you want to like talk to our recruiting people. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
He probably knows more about this than I would. What kind of questions do you have? What kind of questions do you have about EXP?
Like I said, I'm just trying to get a feel for what you guys think about it and how that's working out for you, ins and outs, that sort of thing.
I would say.
I'm going to create the next guy.
Because I've been exploring different things.
I mean, for all
right.
purposes,
We're waiting for you. You specifically to make sure that we can start this party.
But like, if you're plugged in and you're like,
I'm doing
stuff
great.
and you're using it,
How
like,
about
it'd be
you?
awesome. And if you're like, I don't know, it's just, what I like about it,
Thank you for braving the heat.
the ease with which you can have to grow your.
Plenty of food and drink, so do me a favor and eat some.
I've been at Keller Williams, and now I'm at EX.
That's where I'm trying to get
Your second time? Third time. Becoming a regular.
So
We'll have to start having a reward.
was kind of like,
They have a wholesale here. Excellent. I got some people who are new tonight that they're not new, really. They're new to us. And
that is their model. It's more of a fee, lower half, higher fee model. So if you're doing like lots and lots
enjoy
and
yourself.
lots
Let me know
of
if you need
volume, that can be good. Because your cost can be no. I'm sorry. No, opposite way. If you're doing lots and lots and lots of volume, that might not necessarily be the thing because you got fees on every transaction, so you end up accumulating a total of more fees. On your base balance. In terms of the culture, though, that's more of like the money stuff. You'll go and do that research yourself, but the culture stuff is like Remax has something that they want you to fit into. If you fit into it, great. If you don't, it's not a good thing. So you just have to kind of find out their thing is your thing, and that changes every single Remax office. Every Remax office has the ability to have a slightly different thing that you're fitting into. So that's the Remax thing. The KW thing is really cool in that.
It's coming out.
And they both said the KW thing is a great environment for people who want to build a real estate agent business, to have coaching and visibility, and they're like not just doing a transaction. Anybody can kind of like do a transaction, but how do you build something more than just you doing a transaction? That's where KW crushes. EXP has been really good at you know what you want to build, and you want the least amount of friction to be able to build what you want to build. Anything. So funny. I would have been there. Wait. That was a big thing for us.
My dad said he found it 15 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, so we evaluated before we made a change. We were at KW for 14 years. We were there.
All right, if we could find our feet again, we're going to move on to our next section here.
Wanted to know how to build something, and that was the right environment.
Just as soon as everybody's ready.
We also started wanting to expand outside of just the Northern Virginia, D.C., Maryland area, and we got a ton of friction. Every city you want to kind of go into, you got to go meet the local king, kiss his ring, make sure he likes you, and you've got to be half politician, half business person. So let's stand out there and really good. We'll do that.
Everybody's ready.
Me too. So EXP's got no friction if you know what you want to do.
The other thing is this, I happen to be like personal friends with the CEO of EXP, so if you're thinking about EXP, let me know because it does help to kind of have access to some of the people running the deal.
Well, I was looking at it.
All right. Yeah. So we can talk about that. You have my information. I'll connect you.
If everybody could take their seats in 5,
Sorry, baby, you need
and 4,
Outside, can I go to the
and 3, 2, 1, and we're going to keep moving on. So when everybody came in today, we asked that you all pick out a name tag to kind of facilitate the networking tonight, and we have something called the Deal Triangle, which is just here to, again, facilitate how you can connect with people and kind of focus your conversations on getting that next transaction, kind of help both of you make some money and make some progress in life. So I like to think of it as if you're going to be making a deal, if you're going to have a seat at the table, what are you bringing to the table? And what do you want your partner to bring to the table? Right? There's the people who provide the deals. There's the people who provide the money, right, the capital. The people who provide the services or the expertise, right? If it's a flip, someone's got to manage that. If it's a rental, someone still needs to manage that. And then there's the people who are the connectors, right? Sometimes you can get a piece of a deal just for knowing the right people, right? If you go to a large networking event and you have one conversation with someone who has money but nowhere to put it, and someone who has a deal but no money, and you connect those two, as long as you are clear and upfront with both parties in advance of connecting them, you can actually earn yourself a cut of that deal, whether it's going to be a consulting fee or whether it's going to be an equity stake. That depends on how good of a negotiator you are. And of course, we have our beginners. So I want you to kind of think of this when you're talking with people tonight. How could you do business with the people in this room?
Question, before we go on, should we do the,
Yeah, I think we should let each person kind of stand up and introduce yourself to the room. It shouldn't take too long because there's only a handful
30
of us.
second, and what are the questions that we want to kind of just like, who are you,
what do you provide,
and what do you want?
Yeah, that's right.
Who are you, what do you do, and what do you want? And we'll just kind of, that way everybody kind of gets a chance to hear from everybody, if that's all right.
Gino, you're here every day,
Gino, yes.
You want to go
You're
first?
being volunteered.
My name is Gino, and I find stuff, and I'm looking for people who want the stuff that I find.
What kinds of stuff do you find?
Simple
You find multiple
thing.
things, so like, you find a couple things.
I find these square containers that have doors and windows on them, known as concrete.
Okay.
And I find them for people who are looking for them, and looking to maybe possibly invest in them. And I'm looking for the people who really want those things.
Okay.
Hey, Grayson.
Help people find deals, find houses. All right.
We should get a laugh track that we
that's
can ba-boom. All right.
I'm Leanne. I'm Centerville. I am an MED. But I guess I'm partially
Run, Grayson.
because I did just loan some money out.
Real quick, sorry to interrupt. The microphone is really for the recording / the internet. So it won't reverberate in here, but if you don't mind holding it so that it can be clear for the people watching online. Thank you. Yes, please.
We'll circle it back.
I live in Centerville. I am new to investing. I have been going to Grid for a few months now, probably almost a year. Trying to find a house to flip or partner with a flipper, and then also learn how to wholesale. But like I said, I'm partially agreeing too, I guess, because I did loan some money to another investor 2 weeks ago. So I'm
Cool.
starting, I feel like I've gotten my foot in the door at least now, and learning through their flip, and hopefully, get another, some other involvement down the road.
Thank you very much.
I personally just love that, you've taken action. It went from being in a classroom, hearing the thing, I want to do this, and just, even if it's just putting money into a deal, like, you move forward. It's great.
That's what I did, and it's somebody I met through the Fairfax group.
Sweet.
So I feel like at least I'm making progress.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, can you do yours one more time real quick since we didn't have the mic?
My name is Gino, and I find houses, properties sometimes, that are good investment deals, and I'm looking for investors who want to invest in those investment deals. And every now and then, I even find something that's great for a listing, and when I find realtors who like to work with me, then we make something happen.
Awesome.
And also, I did almost get Leanne's money. Almost, but I was a little bit too late.
5 days.
I did. I was just a little too late.
Speed is the name of the game.
Money if you get to it in time.
That's good.
Love it.
All right, I'm Brian. I also find deals for folks, but I'm also a bit of a service provider. I'm in the process of getting my real estate license, so I'm going to be able to do that. I'm also connected up with some other groups that help become a connector in that aspect. Eventually, I think I'd like to be in green as well, kind of play the whole triangle. I've got a couple properties of my own for investment down in Florida. I would love to expand on that as much as up here in Virginia. I want to continue down that path, but finding every tool in the toolbox and being able to apply that.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you for coming back again, Ryan.
My name is Rakush. I'm a grid leader, connector, and investor for 22 years. I will loan money as well. So the primary niche that I do is creative deals. So subject to, I leverage. My favorite word is leverage. So if you come across a situation where someone is in pre-foreclosure or they're going through a divorce, I will leverage that existing loan to purchase it, renovate the property, flip it, or buy and hold. So that's what I've been doing for a while. So yeah, I'm here to help you all and support you any way you can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight, Naya.
Hey, so I'm I'm blue, but I desire to be more of an investor. I like to put my money out there, kind of let it do the work for me. I do have a couple of purchases under my belt, but I'm still figuring out exactly where I'd like to be. So I'm just here to meet people and get information and utilize that to see what my next steps are.
Great. Good to meet
Thank
you,
you
Keith.
for coming out tonight.
Hello everyone, my name is McLean. I'm a wholesaler. I find properties out, distressed properties, and what I'm looking for is like Gino or investing people who want to invest in properties at a time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hello everyone, my name is Tom Cotter. I'm an investor and do fix and flips. We have several rental properties and we just started flipping last year. We closed 2 deals early this year. We have one that we're selling and then we have one that we're rehabbing in DC. So we're very active. Wholesalers, please connect, always looking for deals. So thank you.
Awesome.
I'm Andrea, Tom's wife. I'm a real estate agent and I also help him with our business with flipping houses. I'm looking to network with wholesalers or people who might want to use my services as an agent.
Great.
Awesome. And we got one who just came in. So we're just introducing ourselves, who we are, and how we can help, and also what we're looking for.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
My name is Nura. I am new in real estate. I started as a gator, as you know, with the base mortgage. Today I want to say that for everyone. I go to make connection network in this area. I'm focusing for funding the EED, the development. With more knowledge for private money, lender.
Awesome.
Yeah, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Grayson, if you could take the mic. So for those of you who don't know what a gator lender is, especially those of you who are doing some transactional deals, a gator lender is someone who's going to be giving you very short-term money for things such as, she mentioned EMD lending. So let's say you find a deal as a wholesaler and you don't want to use your own money to lock it up. You could contact her and she could fund that deal potentially for you. Do I have that right?
Yes, right.
All right. Okay. So we're going to go through our sponsors now briefly. We have Sell Simply. He's going to be a deal provider, so if you need any help or if you are trying to get coaching on wholesaling, he also does some free, I think it's like an actual call session that he does with people on, I think, Mondays. So you can reach out to Mike. He's a good guy. We also have, for your traditional mortgage related needs, we have Coleman Bales with Atlantic Coast Mortgage, money provider right there.
And he does do some non-primary resident stuff, but the next sponsor is specifically focused on that. Do you want to go
Yeah,
there?
and he's great. He's able to find all kinds of programs. Like recently, he was able to get people $15,000 grants with to go along with their actual traditional mortgages. But for your hard money loans and hard money needs, we've got Cherie Warwick with Simply Funded. She's got a really great program, especially for DSCR loans that can be based off of the income of a short-term rental, not just a long-term rental rate, which is a really nice feature. For your services, we have property management with Mr. Thomas Price and Home Pro Property Management. Definitely recommend him if you are trying to get back some of your time from managing a portfolio at scale. For your general contracting needs, you could try reaching out to Kaza Construction, Mr. Mark Beckett. We call him Bex, or the professor. He's a pretty smart guy.
He's also one of the founders of the grid, the entire grid network, which is over 30,000 or so members now, and so he's quite the OG.
Yep. That's right. And of course, if you need any real estate services for agenting, we have myself and my awesome partner, Matt Magel. And if you are ever curious about what it would be like to join our team or to see the kind of things that we have available for you, joinkaza.com is the correct place to go. Matt, you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Real quick, Matt Magel, DC native, real estate agent, primary income, real estate investor, because I don't want to work for money. I mostly hold long-term rentals. I have one short-term rental, and then of course, my primary residence in Gainesville, Virginia, which is where I run my real estate team. And like Dan just said, I'm always looking to expand my real estate team with people who want to have a more successful career in the agent representation space. So if you know anybody who loves real estate, but maybe doesn't love their situation, I'd love to buy them lunch and talk to them about what's working and what's not working for them.
Hi everybody, my name is Dan. I am able to help you if you have any real estate agent related needs, right? I'm very good at helping newer investors, especially with either connecting them with the people and resources that they need, or if you need someone to hold your hand through the process because you're kind of newer or you just need leverage. What I could use, I don't know, do you have a witch doctor that can make a duplicate of me? What I could use is some more time. But in the context of this, I think what I would say is I really appreciate those of you who are the return visitors. Thank you for staying strong and making it through it. That way I'm not talking to an empty wall tonight. And to the extent that we're able to grow this community, I would really appreciate it. Next month, I don't think there's going to be anything in the way of that because there's no holiday. Okay. We do have a referral raffle. There was a book on the table over there, if we could grab that book. We give away a Bigger Pockets book each time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to just, again, chat amongst yourselves and kind of network, especially for the new people who just walked in. And I need times to write your names into the raffle, and then we're going to spin the wheel and see who wins the book. In order to be eligible, you just need to be in attendance. And if you have been here at prior times, then your name remains in the raffle time after time until your name gets picked. So today's book looks like it's about raising private capital. That's the one that we had on hand to give away today. So yeah, I'm going to turn on the music to let you guys kind of chat amongst yourselves and get up and move if you'd like to. That way I can have a minute to add your names to the wheel.
Grayson's name on it. He's not a mic runner for no chance to win. Looks like Nora, N-O-R-A. Nora, and then what about Can you just come spell it right for me? Go ahead and type it. Perfect. Thanks. That was just, I wasn't cheating. I wasn't deliberately trying to deny her the win. Okay. All right. Gotta keep Rebecca back. Should I just let it go for a minute? Yeah. All right, guys. I've got it ready to rock. I'm gonna
Start the wheel in 3, 2, 1. We are spinning the wheel. Let's see who's going to win.
We may have to spin it a couple times.
May have to spin it a couple times, so if you need to keep talking, I totally get it.
Do we have an Annie here?
Nope, there's no Annie here. We're going to respin.
All right. We almost had.
So close, Naya.
Chris didn't make
Chris again? Chris,
that would
if you're-
have been a second time.
I also got to find that so it says Chris Booze, not Boot.
We need a Gino win, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
He's never won, right?
Nope. I don't think he has.
It's getting close.
Will, but he's not here tonight.
What do you need, baby? Are you just coming to watch? Okay. Well, you're in front of the camera.
May as well have the music play while I figure this out. So close, Gino.
It's so close. It was the one right after.
Glenn's not here tonight.
There's so many names.
Facebook is like, dude, what is going?
I know. Well, it's because
We didn't think this
we
completely
didn't think
through.
this. Well, we're gonna do it differently next year, don't you think?
Probably Adriana.
Nope, she's not here. She runs cash flow.
It was so close.
On the bright side, I recognize a lot of these names.
That's
I know
great.
who these people are. No, Sierra Scott's not here.
Grayson, so close. No,
No, Adriana. Adriana,
you won.
winner. Yeah, you're the winner. Congrats.
One second. Yeah, dude, it was like
a lot of people not here tonight that
Would
got
you be so
picked
kind
first.
to be in a photo with me as you hold this with our winner? Perfect, thank you. All right, let's get rolling.
All right, guys, if you could find your seats, we're going to pick up where we left off here. We're going to skip the JV Jam. Okay, six-figure flips, 6 figures to maximize your returns. Let's walk through it. First, important legal stuff basically amounts to don't sue us. We're just people. Please don't, count this as legal advice or any of that stuff that could get us in trouble. Okay? I'm glad we're all speed readers and we read through that quickly. So tip number 1 out of 6, research your market. Here's the shortcut. You could just find a mentor that's actually in your market and knows things about that market. I was at a meetup 2 months ago. It was a sub-2 meetup, and there was a guy named Charlie there. Anyone who's been in networking in our area for a while knows who Charlie is. And he was talking about a time where he had to deny a loan for somebody that was applying for it just because he knew the house and he knew what they were trying to do was not going to work because of certain regulations that were specific to that neighborhood that if you'd just gone to the neighborhood over would not have applied. That's the kind of local market expertise that I'm talking about when I'm talking about finding a mentor. The newer you are, the more important something like this would be. And the 2 key things is their experience relevant and recent? Recent speaks for itself, but relevant also means are they experienced in your market? If someone's flipped 100 houses in Arizona, that's a lot better than nothing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all of that value will translate to your market. So make sure that you are meeting, networking, you have your phone number ready to go to call some people when you run into a problem that actually can help you when you run into that problem.
Real quick, does anybody have an example of this being a really important part of their story?
Yes,
Oh, Naya, what was your story? Grayson, where's the mic? Sorry, dude. Just the importance of this, obviously this goes without saying, but some tangible examples I think can be helpful. What can you say real quick about that story? Your mentor, early.
I've had mentors for like over a decade, and I became a national coach and mentor for investors in 2015 all over the country. So having mentors is a key because it can take you from trying to figure out yourself, your timeline can be shortened like incredibly fast. Just having that hand-holding, that guidance. So for me, it was a matter of months by the time I paid, and I believe in investing yourself. So in 2013, my first real estate mentor, I invested $20K in learn how to do creative deals. So within a matter of months, I got my first property off of Craigslist. And then I had the guidance to fill out the paperwork. Yes, I was a real estate agent, and I was familiar with the market, but I had never done a deal like that before.
And from knowing just a little bit about your story, I think your mentor can teach you both what to do and sometimes what not to do. Like
Yes.
seeing some of the things your mentor was doing led you down a path of being like, okay, I like this, but I want to do it in a different way too.
Actually, I learned about a different mentor I had when I was rehabbing in the beginning.
Yeah.
Before I learned. Yeah, the great thing is that you can see what they're doing great and what they're not doing great and pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Naya. You, by the way, could be a mentor for someone here if anyone is interested in finding one, right?
Yeah.
But so let's say that you decide to skip that and instead try to do it yourself. Well, here are some of the basics that you should start covering when it comes to researching your market. Let's go through the basic questions. Who are the successful flippers in your market? What types of properties do they target? When do they buy, renovate, and sell the properties? Because there is a seasonality to real estate. Where do they find properties and which neighborhoods do they focus on? Why do they choose those specific properties, renovations, and financing options? And how do they assess that value, manage the renovations, and market the properties? These are some of the basic questions whenever you're trying to get into something. And because you guys are here at a networking event, these are the kinds of questions that you could be asking each other, right? So if you are, say for example, trying to figure out the buy box or trying to learn from someone who has more experience than you, these are some of the basics that you ought to be covering, right? And when you're thinking about creating your buy box, these are some of the thoughts that should be crossing your mind.
One thing I'll just say is like the quality of your experience, I think, is directly related to the quality of the questions you ask, right? Like there's few skills that I think are more valuable for people learning how to do new things than just getting good at asking the right kinds of questions and so on. So these are some examples, but just ask great questions, you'll get great results.
Yep. Second major step is to streamline your acquisitions, right? The shortcut of this, of course, is to just work with a good wholesaler who's going to be providing you with deals. But even when you're trying to pick out a wholesaler to work with, how are you going to differentiate between them? You should ask questions like, do they assign flippable deals, or are they only assigning deals that work as holds, right? Because there needs to be a lot more meat on the bone for flip than for a hold, generally, right? Do they only do cash deals, or can they structure creative deals? Right? There's some wholesalers who understand how to do sub-2, and that's like all they ever do because they're so attracted to it. There's other people who all they know how to do is cash, and so they stick to that. There's some people who do 50-50, right? Where it just depends, the right tool for the right job. So kind of figure that out. If you don't know what creative finance is, by the way, talk to Naya before you leave tonight. And then deal flow. How many deals are they actually providing, right? Just because someone's wearing yellow doesn't mean that they've actually transacted recently. So
Not in this room. Everybody in this room transacts all the time. You guys are the best. I'm talking about other rooms.
Totally, yeah. So when you're trying to figure out your wholesalers, obviously you should know a bunch of them because they also work in different markets. Some people might have a deal flow of 30 a month, but it's like 28 of it is in Maryland and 2 of it's in Virginia, right? That's important if you're trying to look in Virginia that you know that, because now your email is going to get blasted with stuff that you're just hitting delete every day, right? So these are the kinds of things to think about when you're deciding who to invest a lot of time and energy into. And of course, one of the benefits of working with a wholesaler is you don't have to look like this guy. That's the goal, right? Trying to avoid that. So what are some things to think about? Have I assessed the property's condition? Is the property's title clear, legally sound? How do I compete in a crowded market? And can I secure financing for this deal, right? You should already have the financing figured out if you're getting started in this. But if you haven't figured that out, don't worry. Good money will always be attracted to a good deal, right? So that part shouldn't be too hard, but you should still know who you're going to call, right? Like if I have a wholesaler send me a deal today, I know who I'm calling and in what order to get my financing lined up, right? How do you compete? That's actually really important because whether you're looking for money or whether you're looking for a deal, right? Gino and Leanne, sometimes you got to be quick to secure that financing because other people might be trying to get to the deal or to the financing faster, right? But you need to have streamlined acquisitions. So figure out either who you're working with or your own system. And if you are going to try to do it without a wholesaler and you're going to be like sourcing your own leads, I would encourage you to go back to whatever month it was that we covered how to do that.
Yeah, I think it was February. And we're not obviously going through every aspect of this, but you know, how do you find deals? In a nutshell, there are 3 options. Prospecting, Gino can talk to you a lot about what that kind of looks like. Prospecting, networking, and what you guys are doing here, and making connections and relationships, or marketing, all of which work. You can do all of them. I'd probably pick one that you want to go become a little bit of an expert at, and and of course, prospecting can be the most immediate and cheapest because it's your cell phone bill and your script and a list. Networking can be immediate, but you got to get out to events like this and make clear what you're looking for and how you can help other people. And then marketing is the most leveraged, but it can be the most expensive too, right? You're putting money out into the world to hope to have those things come back. And then you go through that process that Dan's talking about.
Okay. Underwriting. You need to be able to run the math quickly when you're evaluating a potential deal to see if this is something that merits further attention. So the shortcut, of course, is developing a relationship with a hard money lender, right? Someone who's able to get you the majority of the funding or potentially all of it if the deal has enough meat on the bone, right? Usually they want some skin in the game, but for a killer deal, I have seen lenders that are willing to fund the whole thing. Some things to consider when you're trying to choose between different hard money lenders would be the rates and fees, obviously. The max LTV or LTC, right? That's loan to value or loan to cost, right? Usually the lender is going to have a mix where it's like not more than this or that, whichever is lower, whichever is greater, right? They'll have some combination figure. The terms and the qualifications, which often get better the more experience you have, right? So if you're brand new, it may pay to partner with someone because they will give you better terms and make deals that might not have really worked. They were kind of on the bubble, make them workable now that you're getting better terms because you brought in a partner who has enough experience to command good terms, if that makes sense, right? And of course, speed and service, right? If the person's not going to be available to actually take your call, there's no point in having them on your list of people to call because these deals move quickly. You need to be able to move quickly in order to win them.
Question, just real quick, questions up to this point? I'm kind of, we're going through this stuff pretty fast. There are different levels of experience in the room, I imagine. Everything, any questions, anybody? Or we're good? All right, good.
Yeah, the nice thing about a hard money lender on your team is that they will reject loans. And when that happens, you should ask them why. Why is this deal that I thought so highly of being rejected? What am I missing? Why is it that you, who this is all you do, Mr. or Mrs. Underwriter, have decided this is not a deal, right? It's a good question to ask, right? So the biggest mistakes when underwriting and funding the flips is going to include either underestimating the reno and the holding costs. You should be adding a contingency. Just bake it in because things are always going to run over. It's going to cost more. It's going to take longer. Just bake that in.
When you open up the walls, you find the thing you weren't expecting.
That's right. Or sometimes there's regulatory problems. You thought that you applied for that permit in time, man, you thought. And then something happened, sure enough. And now it's going to be a month-long delay that's out of your hands. All right, overestimating the property's after repair value. You should also consider market timing, right? If you're using comps from the spring, but you're not going to have this thing ready until winter, that's going to affect what you think you can get for it. And then, of course, you should be asking...
Sorry, and the other thing, now, that wasn't necessarily as much of a market timing element until like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, is just the interest rate timing of stuff, right? Like, interest rate fluctuations are having relatively substantial impacts on buyer intensity and things like that. Now, do you have a crystal ball to predict it? No, but you should be at least mindful of it as much as you may be mindful to other things. What is the Fed saying? When is the next time they're going to be meeting? What are we expecting in terms of cuts or increases, et cetera? So just another market timing thing to be mindful of.
And of course, we already mentioned this, but asking a hard money lender if they would fund the deal, and if not, why not? They don't have to necessarily be a part of your deal. They could just be someone that you know and you trust, and you'd be like, hey, I'm evaluating this. Here's the basics. What do you think, right? And after you get enough experience going through that, you start to develop your own sixth sense, which makes it a lot easier for you to act quickly. Because and I know for me, when I get the text or the email, and I glance at it because I got so many messages coming in at me, I only have time to glance at it. And I have to be pretty good at figuring out, is this something to pursue further or not, right? So what I did when I was first starting is I literally just got 100 of them, and I ran the math in depth for all of them. And then I did that again the next month and the next month, right? Until I had a few hundred under my belt, and then it became intuitive. I was starting to see them, and it's like you could start to see the matrix. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Add to that, not every hard money is equal.
Yes.
So some may be more flexible than others. Keep in mind, I like flexibility and I want to have more control. Thank you. So yeah, not all of our lenders are created equal. Some of them are really hard to get, they give you draws. Some of them are willing to give you the money up front and then trust you to do the renovation yourself. So look into all those factors. Because you could delay the project. I've had experience with hard money lenders that have been in pain and I'm like, no. So then I would have when I started raising my own private money. So I don't have to deal with hard money.
Yep, absolutely. Super valuable. Okay. Fourth step is that you need to understand how to renovate cost effectively, right? This is not every dollar you put in, you get a dollar back. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to be careful about what you're doing. So you could be getting an architect or a designer to help you with this part. And you want to ensure when you're comparing between people that whoever's giving you this design experience, that they have some relevant experience of their own, that their style is going to be compatible with your vision, and that you're also going to be reviewing a portfolio of completed projects. Now, a lot of people don't end up getting an actual architect or designer necessarily that's like a permanent part of their team. Sometimes they just are that themselves, or they have their general contractor that they use a lot to help them, or their agent gives them some design input. But whoever it is that's helping guide and craft this vision, I'd say one of the most important pieces here is to look at their past work and see how did it work out for them, right? Did the market accept or reject what they were putting out, right? The proof is in the pudding. So here's some things to think about when it comes to...
Actually, can we go back just real quick? One other thing on this that I don't think gets enough reinforcement when talking to people is it's always easy to over-improve the property. The real skill is knowing where to stop, right? Like you can, you'll have things when you acquire a house that's in distress that you're going to be improving and flipping. That's pretty obvious. You put $1 in, you're going to get $4 back out. You fix this crappy carpet, it's not expensive to do carpet, it's going to make this whole room totally different. Like those are pretty easy to identify. But as you kind of go through all of those, you're going to end up getting to a spot where you're like, all right, I'm going to put $1 in and maybe get that $1 back out. Well, you need to know kind of like where that line is and retreat from that a bit so that every dollar you put in, you're getting at least $1.50 kind of like minimum back out as the expectation. How to kind of think about that real quick, because this just kind of goes into a little bit of like super simple renovation stuff, is there's only 2 reasons to put money into a house that you don't plan on living in. And I say that you don't plan on living in because there's a million reasons to put out money into a house you plan on living in. It's for your family, it's for all sorts of stuff. But one, if something's broken, it's always going to be cheaper for you to fix something that's broken than to pass it along to the buyer. If you're renovating houses, that kind of is common sense, but still just like, it's always cheaper to fix the broken thing than to try and say, hey, I'll give you a credit for the broken thing. The credit for the broken thing is going to be double the cost, typically, double the cost of what the actual fixing is going to cost. So that's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. The second one is getting good at knowing where that 4x, 2 to 5x return on investment is. And most of the time, it's the cosmetic type of things, right? You're saying, do I really need to put amazing crown molding in this house? Only if the comps demand it, right? Where is this house? What are the other properties that are saying? Do they all have pristine crown molding or not so much? So like, that's where every house is a slightly different thing. Knowing your neighborhood that you're selling this in, knowing what the comps are, what they look like, and then getting the renovations right up to that point, but not going beyond it, is the skill that you're going to want to develop in this step.
Absolutely. Now, when you're trying to find inspiration, a lot of people go online, but I think one of the things that you should start with is actually the new construction model homes that are near your market, because those companies put a lot of money into deciding what's the right thing to get people to put down more money than they should.
Yeah.
Right?
What is the floors? I was blown away when I walked into a new construction home. This is maybe about 5 years ago, and they had LVP in the main level for flooring instead of hardwood. And I was like, oh my God, okay. They have done the research. They've spent millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they've determined that LVP will sell still in new construction. So it shifted my brain like, okay, I don't have to, if I'm having a client that's got a main level and they really want to do it, we can go LVP now. So that's new construction. Colors that work, general, like what is the color of the metal on the fixtures and the lights and the plumbing? I don't know. But you go to the new construction model home, and they're like, oh, they're brass. Like, okay. Oh, they're copper. Okay. Oh, they're black. Like, they've done the market research that you can steal from, so yes.
The other thing to be aware of when you're running comps is look for any homes that have already been flipped in your market, right? If you're looking in the neighborhood and there was a house that sold 2 months ago and you can see it was obviously flipped, that gives you a
might be
lot
able
of
to check the
valuable
tax record
information.
to see when it was bought.
Yeah.
Oh, this was bought 4 months ago, was sold last month, you can tell. But
That's great for wholesalers. The one
Yeah.
that just said is phenomenal for wholesalers, because I've done that before. So I found flips, and then I looked at tax records 3 months before they had bought it for so much. So you know what? I had the opportunity to go talk to the seller. I made sure that I got it 40K below what he bought it for, and then I called my friend because I knew who bought it, and then, okay, do you want another one that neighborhood that's just like a property that you just flipped? And I just did it 40K wholesale.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, if you're a wholesaler and you find a property like that and you found that there was another property that was flipped there, dude, call that agent or call that seller. You also have a buyer now for your thing that you're about to wholesale, right? Of course they're going to buy it. You tell them the address of the one they just sold and be like, would you like another? Right? Okay, so renovating to about the upper middle market standards based on comps for cost effectiveness, prioritizing neutral or on-trend designs. Again, if you have an example of a flipped home, you can you could even call that seller and ask them, okay, what worked, what didn't work for you, what ran over, right? But otherwise, you should just look at the comps, and if all the comps are selling at basically unrenovated homes, you got to be careful, because you don't have evidence of what a peak newly renovated home would look like in that neighborhood. So you want to be really careful not to overdo that and to assume that your renovations are going to be worth so much more than the highest comp. Probably won't be. All right, finally, do avoid over-improving. Also avoid neglecting local preferences, choosing niche designs, or overlooking functionality to maximize the appeal and value. Again, just coming back to the fact that you need to pay attention to what's actually going to sell, not what you have a personal preference for. Okay? All right, step 5, prioritizing the project management, right? Hopefully you don't walk in one day and see your guys doing this, right? So the shortcut there would be to find a general contractor who you trust and that you think can actually get the job done. When you're deciding between general contractors, think about things like their experience and reputation. You should actually confer on the people who they've done work for and ask them how well do they stand up to scrutiny? Do these people do what they say they're going to do on time? Make sure they've got the proper licenses and insurance, obviously, if they're going to be a GC. Clear communication, competitive pricing, and adherence to timelines, all kind of basic stuff that you would expect. It's really hard to get good contractors because everybody hides them, right? If you have a great contractor, that's like a secret that you're not giving away.
Well, I learned a long time ago, this goes for contractors, mechanics, car mechanics, anybody. There's 3 things that we all want: good, fast, and cheap. You can have 2. You got to pick which 2 you want. I've yet to find anybody that has 3. So my mechanic is good and he is cheap. But I rent a car almost every time I drop it off at his place because he's not going to be fast, right? But that's okay. So just kind of know what's important to you. And he's right. When you find the general contractor that you want, you might be. It's like the new parents. When you got that babysitter that's really, really great. How many of your friends are like, do you know a babysitter? No, I don't know a babysitter. Don't come to me with it. I'm not trying to let this person out of my. I need him for me. So this is a crown jewel on the flipping deal.
So treat them well.
Yeah, treat them well.
Is the idea.
And also the other thing though, in the flip side of the treat them well, is like I set the expectations with every one of my contractors or handymen that like they're constantly on audition. Like I want you to be good, trust me, but like if it's not good, I'm only going by the most recent experience. Hey, I'm forgiving, and if you made a mistake, family passed away, I get it. But I'm talking about like if you start getting too comfortable with me, you're on audition at all times, right? And just having that kind of simple communication with them. I want a partner, just like I want a tenant in my long-term rentals, that they are there forever. I want you to be my contractor forever. Please make that the reality, because you are on audition every time we do a deal, right? Just set that up front.
Yep. So some things to think about. You want to ensure that permits, dumpsters, utilities, anything at all that you can have set up by closing, that way you can hit the ground running, you should be doing. Especially things that need to go through the government, that takes time, right? Any kind of head start you can get, paying attention that time is money, that's very important. Next, you want to be locking down a very detailed scope of work. That's going to be for materials, for scheduling, for responsibilities. The more detail there is, the more accountability there can be, right? You're going to want to introduce yourself to the neighbors and share contact information because you would rather have them call you than the city or code enforcement if there's a problem, right? It's always better for you to be able to have a say in the matter before it gets too far out of hand, which, by the way, you should be inspecting the job site regularly, or you should have a partner that you trust who's actually going to do it and who's going to be there several times weekly and daily if it's going to be during a critical phase, right? This is not a passive form of investing. This is more of a job. So when we're getting ready for final punch out, whatever your other job is, this is happening. Unless you just want to roll the dice.
I mean, anybody ever had contractors in their own house that they just said, I don't know, I'll be back, you do your work and tell me when it's done, compared to like, hey, why is that happening, right? Like you have to some degree. I mean, the contractor is the guy in charge, but he's got a bunch of subs on the stinking job. Somebody, if he's not really managing the project, it's your money, it's your stinking profit. You want to be watching what's going on as much as you can reasonably.
All right, and then finally, once all the work is done, you're going to want to market this thing professionally. It would be a shame to get this really polished diamond and then sell it at like a lemonade stand corner instead of in, I don't know, what's a really expensive jeweler?
Jeweler?
Yeah.
Dominion,
Yeah.
your way or
I think
something.
Dominion's going to sell it for a lot more than the lemonade stand girl is going to be able to sell it for, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing a professional job, so you should be hiring a realtor, ideally. They should have local expertise and a reputation. They should have an effective marketing strategy, and of course, they should be excellent with communication and negotiations.
I will not talk for an hour about this piece, but just know that if the buyer of your property thinks that you're getting a deal on selling it, they want in. You're getting, well shoot, split some of that deal with me. I mean, you're not paying an agent to kind of like do the whole 9 yards. Like, well, I want some of that benefit. They don't think, oh, you're doing it yourself, you should get all the money, because they just don't think that way. You will do everything in the first 5 steps to get it all perfectly done, and then skip this one and cut your profit by $10, $15, $20, $25,000. Like just in your pocket at the end of the day, after real estate agent commissions. Because the psychology is, if you put this couch on Craigslist, as like he was giving the analogy, instead of Haverty's Furniture, the exact same couch, hypothetically, same couch, one couch is on Craigslist, one's on Haverty, where is it going to sell for more money? In Haverty, because people understand that I'm the clientele that's going to purchase at Haverty and the environment and all that stuff, the context matters. On Craigslist, they're coming to you, but they want the deal, right? So like, don't put yourself in a spot where you're cutting your legs out at the end.
Yeah. Especially when you're considering, like, how many jobs exactly did you think you were getting into when you got into flipping, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how many have we gone into, right? There's a mentor, a wholesaler, a hard money lender, a architect, designer, contractor, realtor. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of hats to wear. So if you have a team, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to scale. All right, so some things to consider when you're marketing your property. So you could be pre-marketing it with renders to attract early buyers. Sometimes you'll have a buyer who gets to you early enough in the process that they're actually able to make some design choices on their own. Maybe you could pocket some of the money that you were going to spend on renovations. So we have seen people do that before where obviously new construction does this all day, every day. They sell the completed vision of the house while it's raw land, okay? So it can be done, right? Obviously it can be done. It can be done at scale. You should be pricing strategically with price bands in order to attract multiple offers and in order to control the negotiation. If you don't know what a price band is, I'll refer to my partner.
2-minute explanation. All the data shows that buyers search for properties in $25,000 intervals. People are going onto their favorite search site and they're looking for properties under $700, $725, $750, $775, $800. But it's a joke to think that somebody's going to go and say, what's on the market right now for $763 and below? They just don't. So when you're pricing a property, recognize that if you list the property for exactly what you think it's worth, you are communicating, if you give me this amount of money, I will sell my house to you for it. If you instead scrap that whole idea and say, I think it's worth $763, but I'm going to list it for $749,900, just below that $50,000 price band, only paying attention to the 25s are all that matter, just below that, you're communicating, I'm not sure exactly what it's worth. I think it's probably worth a little bit more than this. You tell me what you want to pay for it. Which is going to get you a better result? You saying that this is the dollar amount that I think it's worth, and now you start negotiating down from that. Well, maybe you're not. Or I'm putting it low, getting a lot of interest, a lot of attention on this property to get multiple offers and ultimately drive it up to whatever the market will kind of bear. The second one proves time and time again. So this is the price bands, just paying attention and listing properties in $25,000 intervals, because it fundamentally changes the conversation.
You should consider staging, because it can make a difference in the price. I mean, if it just takes a little bit of money to stage the property, and if that makes just like even if that just made a percentage point difference in your sales price, that's a much bigger difference in your bottom line. So we do recommend staging.
The other piece with staging real quick, especially for renovating, especially if you're flipping for the first time, the house is going to have imperfections. If it's not staged, everybody's looking at the imperfections. If it's staged, they're thinking about how great this house feels and how nice this is. But if there's nothing else to look at, they're looking at the trim's not totally lined up and that light looks like it's a little crooked. Like, don't set yourself up to get picked apart, especially in your first house or two. Do the staging so that people are not paying too much attention to what might not have been done perfectly.
Yep. Ineffective negotiation can impact not just the profitability of a single buyer, but also your overall timeline, right? If that negotiation drags out, now your holding costs are definitely going to increase. That's a big issue. So make sure that either you or your agent needs to be very skilled at negotiation. And finally, it goes without saying, but high quality photos and videos are going to be so important, especially in today's day and age where it's like upward of 90% of everyone, before they even consider your house, they find you online. Right, so if your online presence is bad, it's a no-go. Okay. All right, Q&A before we move on.
Any questions about any of that stuff? Welcome.
Okay. Cool. Does anyone here have a deal that they want to shop to the room?
Anybody today? Something they want to get rid of? Okay.
Okay. If you do have any deals that you're getting done and you want to have a chance to win Deal of the Year for all of the collective grid chapters, and there's a lot of us, please send your deal details to investor@gridmanassas.com. It's just a little description of what happened in your deal.
I want to ask a question real quick about this. It's July, does anybody have a deal that they're particularly proud of so far in 2024? Yes? Give us just a quick mic lady, mic child, mic person. Run the mic over. Just real quick, 30-second, the deal that you're, yeah.
Get excited. All right, I just sold the property 2 weeks ago, and I bought it creatively 6 years ago from a former federal judge.
Oh, you sold that one?
I did sold
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I invested $60K out of my Roth IRA, my self-directed IRA.
Yep.
And I just got $274,000 back into my account.
That's a nice return.
457% return.
In 6 years. And it was rented in between.
And tax-free because it's in my
Roth IRA. And it was rented in between.
So I was the same tenant for 6 years.
Yeah, so you had cash flow, and then that was the payout.
Yeah.
So you're going to email us.
Did you sell it to the tenant by chance? No. Okay.
So you're going to email us,
Yeah,
right?
so that's
to
it, yeah.
investor at.
Yeah, we want
to get you to win that trophy.
And I'm hoping for is at $500K whereas it flip.
Gotcha. Well, Rob will want some of those by the end of the year to be in the email if you don't mind.
Absolutely. All right, and of course we do have the Grid Real Deal Guarantee, which is if you're struggling to pull a deal across the finish line, you've got an opportunity, you're not exactly sure how to structure it, or you need help on some element of it. If you want to bring it to us, we will help you get it across the finish line and help you get paid. What that looks like depends on the nature of the deal, right? So one caveat though, it must be an actual deal. We are not miracle workers. Bring us something can be done and we will help you do it.
Kind of back to what Dan was saying about that, like, having the hard money lender underwrite it, like, you want a second set of eyes, is this something that could work, we can take a look at it and give you our perspective, and if it's real, we'll figure out a way to help you get paid.
Yep. All right, if you want to join our Facebook group, we also have our event playbacks on YouTube. If you want to RSVP for next month's event, you can find us on meetup.com. If you want to give us a nice review so other people like us, those are the reviews. Otherwise, we are going to open up the room for everyone to network. Before we do, though, we have 2 latecomers who, if we could get the mic girl over to the newcomers, I would like them each to have an opportunity to stand up, say their name, and basically say, what it is you're looking for, how we could help you, but also in return, what value you might have to bring to the table to us.
So I have to stand up. Hi, I'm Jason. I think I know the majority of you guys. I am a hard money lender. I'm an investor first, hard money lender. I'm here to connect. I haven't been here this was my first meeting that I've ever come to, and then I haven't been here.
Oh, well, I'm honored.
I apologize. I'll make more appearance. But,
Great.
Yeah, so
Welcome back.
I'm just looking to connect. So obviously, if people have lending needs, and obviously I would love to help out, but most importantly, connect, find deals, all that good stuff.
Okay,
Perfect.
sounds great.
And I brought this guy.
Perfect.
Hey, my name is Ivan. This is my first time being here. I'm a contractor. I'm just looking to provide services for anybody that's needing it. And I'm also learning being here and investing and just networking.
Sweet. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to turn
Thank
on the
you.
music. It is currently 7:15. I just need everyone out by 8.
Perfect.
And we have food there, and I expect all the food to be
Please.
gone, so please eat.
There's a bunch of cookies.
Yep, cookies, drinks, all that jazz. All right.
Thank you, guys.